gonna keep it personal since you slapped me with a couple of what made you first, a couple of plays like and or the ideas like I know you always are into acting, but like what were those key moments in your life that made you click us like, because I know for me, like I'm gonna say this, like being bored in those first couple years of not being on social media, you like, man, I don't know what to do with myself. But I learned quickly, like being bored is just a lack of creativity. So it's like, when did that come through for you?
Fast forward to ninth grade, I was supposed to play oboe because I was in band. I was a band middle school. I was supposed to play oboe, but I got a switch. It was supposed to be in band, but I got switched up to play or to be in theater. So I go in theater. I'm like, you know what? I like movies. Yeah, I watch shows. Yeah, I was just a very expressive little kid, very expressive little kid. But it was always like, oh, let me not. Oh, I better not. And we can point that to astrology too, having Aries in the 5th house, but Lilith also there. So anytime that I feel like I'm expressing myself or being an individual, which it sextiles my sun in the 3rd house, Aquarius, like I might get a little drawback, or I might feel that like, oh, that. And I can talk about that, but acting in theater was a way for me to control that. And shout out to Donald Leonard Lyford Jr., my first theater teacher. I did this improv where he was like, all right, you're in a movie theater. You have to act out what it is to be in a movie theater. They had like a row of chairs and we're in the auditorium. So like I'm there with my friend, I put my hand over her shoulder. So we watching a movie and I do this one thing where I'm like, you drink soda at the movie. So, I'm like, with my girl, we on a date. All right, let me drink from this. I go like this. Like you drink from the my teacher burst out in laughter. He's this big, hefty old man. He was in the Vietnam War. He's this big, and he's just laughing from the top of his lungs. Like I was saying, like when I was a kid, having that impact of other people. When I saw that impact of me just like miming drinking from a soda, that's when I was like, wow, I got the impact to cut just by. So that's when things start clicking for me. I went throughout school. School was a big thing just for me, and I consider it. It was like a privilege, but I wanted to study what I wanted to study. I decided to study theater because I knew that there was just something more. I got really into the theory specifically and acting. I will be honest though, writing was an insecurity of mine because I focus more on acting. I like to be more physical. That's why I fucked with what you were saying about being an experience-based spiritualist. And that's kind of, without even knowing, that's kind of like the role that I took. I was in the acting, the workshops. We was in there all damn day doing a bunch of weird ass shit. That's why we're doing a face all like, I mentioned that a little bit, but I shied away from playwriting because it seemed like there was a certain narrative that wanted to be that was getting noticed. Like I said, when I was a kid, I could tell like what would get noticed, what would be an impact. And what was going on in my head wasn't necessarily what the narrative was. I wasn't talking about being oppressed. I wasn't talking about getting the short hand of the stick. And that's what everyone else wanted to hear. And it was weird to me. It was very, very weird. So fast forward to graduating, the typical thing for a theater major, go to New York, go to LA, go to Hollywood. I was like, nah, I feel like I got something within me that I don't need to go out and find. I don't need to go out to change my geographical location. I'm here in Baltimore. So what I decided to do was to come back home. And I made it my duty to find what that special thing that I was searching for. Because I knew as an artist, as a creator, I had my own formula. I had my own niche. I had my own. And I was able to find that, like I said, by being flunked out. One of the first spiritualists, like teachers that I got into was Bobby Hemmett, and we know like that's from the 90s and shit. So I was watching them 5-hour videos, I was watching them 10-hour videos, trying to like, because what he was saying was resonating. Like I said, I've always been into the myths, the Greek gods, the fables, the African diaspora stories. I've always been into those because that's just, like I said, like I love myth, I love things like that, and Bobby Hemmett touched on that a lot. But yeah, like how you're saying, it was being bored. But it was also like, I got something to bring out. I got something that could impact the next person because I know how it impacts me. And then going on to discovering we're all doing the same thing. I'm like, okay, that relatability, that's where I kind of want to focus on. Like, yeah, I can sit back and say, yeah, this is who I am, and I'm Jam Boom Boom, and I'm Jam Da Da. This is my experience. And I don't know, maybe you have experienced this. So it's like that's how I feel like
Right.
this place
Right. Yeah.
about was like, it's kind of like a, this is what I experienced, and I want to be very clear with the virtues and principles that I'm working with each of the stories, because it's like for Jaguar, it's like a mystery, but that only means that the protagonist is searching. They have this idea like something's going on, but they're searching. So that's the virtue. Then the next, like Institute Pursuit, I kind of don't, I'm kind of in a flux, I'm kind of confused. Something supernatural has to happen, then they have to make up their mind. So that's the principle. So yeah, it's being bored, but then also knowing like, all right, I'm away, I went through the fire. So now I can look back and look at my situation. All right, let me make it fun. Everyone love a funny moment. Let me make it a cult, because we all got shit that we don't say to each other. Let me make it so I stay very much in that world of in the third house and in the relatability. And yeah, that's my
No, that's a good point though. Like everyone does have, like, I understand like group consciousness and everything. Like there's only a few narratives out right now, like that everyone continuously piggybacks off of. And I wish and I'm not gonna wish, and I'm gonna just do my part and manifest originality. Just so hopefully everybody can else understand, along with the people that's in this room, like what originality really is. So, but I mean, that's all I think. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to adhere to all the narratives around us just to be who we are. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Exactly. And then for this project, like calling it Lost Dogs Chase Tails, like I love me a clever little riddle, a clever little play on words. I always have. So this whole idea that the myth that goes behind it is that it's just a wolf who's in a forest. The forest is personified to be a storyteller, and the wolf gets tired and lays at the base of the tree. And the dreams that the wolf has is based off of where he geographically is placed. He's at the base of the tree. This tree has a story to tell. And so each, the Jaguar is a story that the tree told. Institute Pursuit is a story that so it's still like, what's the truth? Is this really like you were saying, like I hope people resonate with this, but who's to say like this is the, I'm not preaching with these. I'm not, this is it. This is, it's an interpretation, it's a perspective to eventually say, hey, what's your story? What's your piece? And like I said, I got a college background, so the goal is to create a curriculum off of this too. Like mythologizing is kind of the term we use for writing. Like we're about to mythologize real quick. All right, now imagine us as. So yeah, I like that question. It reminds me of what I'm doing.